And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Fiverella, based on the story of Cinderella. Andrew's Doors, I hope you enjoyed it. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Fiverella. Fiverella had four ugly, mean stepsisters: Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella made Fiverella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. One day, the king of Fiveingham's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Fivingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quintuppling. But Fiverella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Fiona said, He's going to marry me. Isabella said, No way, Fiona. He's going to marry me. Verona said, Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Ella said, All three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Fiverella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Quintupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks, Why are you crying, Fiverella? Fiverella responds, I got a lot of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Quintupling. The fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic. Quantity, woo! The fairy godmother's magic did all the chores and then turned Fiverella's do-rag and ribbed dress into a gown and crown. Fiverella said, I've never seen such a quintastic dress, and get a load of my glass slippers. But she's not done yet. The fairy godmother said, Fetch me. Fiverella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Fiverella has 5 pumpkins, and the fairy godmother turned the 5 pumpkins into a handsome coach. It's drawn by 10 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, Have fun, Fiverella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Fiverella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Quintupling said, Who should I marry? Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella said all together, He's walking towards me. Well, he's not walking towards any of them, but Prince Quintupling is walking towards Fiverella. Fiverella and Prince Quintupling danced happily together. But later, Fiverella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And when she was running so fast, she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quintupling was so worried that she might never see Fiverella again. So he traveled all around Fivingham to find her, bringing the tiny glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door where Fiverella and her 4 ugly mean stepsisters live. Prince Quintupling said to her stepsisters, Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Fiona is first. but her foot is too small. Isabella is next, but her foot is too big. Verona and Ella are last, but neither of the feet match. Suddenly, Prince Quintuple noticed Prince Fiverella's sweet singing. Prince Quintuple, is that really you? Of course it's me, Fiverella. Prince Fiverella is so excited because she's happy to have her Prince Quintuple back. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. And take care, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 5 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha all together. Then one day, the king of Autolihan's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Autolihan is going to throw a ball, and who will have the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Autopling." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. They then argue over who will Prince Autopling marry. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Autopling while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" Cinderella responds, "I got lots of chores to do, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Autopling." Cinderella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic," and waved her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has a pumpkin. Cinderella's fairy godmother waved her magic wand again to turn the 8 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 16 strong horses, and then Cinderella's ripped clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such an terrific gown. Get a load of my glass slippers." Her fairy godmother said, "Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Autopling was wondering who he should marry. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha say all together, "He's walking towards me." But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Autopling danced happily together, But later, Cinderella realizes it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Toppling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Ottenham to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the house where Cinderella, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. He then says, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you try on these glass slippers?" Eliza is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. The rest did the same, but none of their feet were the right size. Suddenly, Prince Toppling notices Cinderella's sweet saying, "The glass slippers fit!" And Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Toppling back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. And Andrew Stewards, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merch in Dice too. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named 55erella. 55erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatina, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. May 55erella do all the chores. 55er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yvonne, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. One day, the king of 55ham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 55ham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quinquin Toppling." But 55erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fatima, the oldest stepsister. Ivana said, "No way, Fatima. He's going to marry me." The rest said, "No, he's going to marry me." Later, 55erella is so sad, distraught, and upset doing chores about not going to the ball and marry Prince Quinquin Toppling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 55erella by saying, There now, my dear sweet 55erella. I can help with a bit of magic," and waves her magic wand. And because of that, 55erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 55erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 55erella has 55 pumpkins and 110 mice. 55erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 55 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 110 mice into horses, and 55erella's fairy Rick calls into a gown and crown. 55-year-old says, I've never seen such a quinquagentastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? 55-year-old fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 55-year-old. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. Back to normal. And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. 55-year-old accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of 55-ingham says, good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Quinquagentastic, was one who he owed to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Quinquagentastic responds, yes, father. Suddenly, 55-year-old arrives just in time for the ball. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, he's walking towards me! All together, but he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Quinquagentastic is walking towards 55-year-old. May I have this dance? asks Prince Quinquagentastic, in which 55-year-old responds, I would be delighted. Prince Quinquagentastic and 55-year-old dance happily together. But later, as 55-year-old checks her clock, it's almost midnight, and so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quinquagentastic is really sad and worried that he might never see 55-year-old again. The king of 55-year-old comforts him by saying, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find her. And so, the king of 55-ingham and Prince Quinquagentastic began their journey all around 55-ingham to find 55-year-old and brought the glass slipper with them. By the time they arrive, they knock. Prince Quinquagentastic knocks on the door of the house where 55-year-old and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 55-year-old, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quinquagentastic then says, ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can you try on this glass slipper? Fatima is first, but her foot is too big. Ivana is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Quinquagentastic and the king of 55-ingham noticed 55-year-old singing. Prince Quinquagentastic, is that you? She hollered excitedly. Prince Quinquagentastic says, of course it's me. My father and I found you. I love you. Will you marry me? And the glass slipper fits. And so, 55-year-old, the king of 55-ingham, and Prince Quinquagentastic lived happily ever after. The end. And I bet it was a fun story, right, Andrew Stewart? I've been debating on making some sequels. So, if you want to see maybe someday 55-year-old 2, 55 wishes come true, tell your friends about it, okay? And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And have you found your prince or princess? Just let me know. And maybe my Cinderella parodies will come true and become real. Take care, Andrew Stewart. Bye. And now, Andrew's Doers! Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 58erella! It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 58erella. 58erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tara, Yadina, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. All 10 of them made fun of 58erella and made her do all the chores. 58er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said all 10 of them together. One day, the king of Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbleham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbleham, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has with lots of food. And after dinner at 10 o'clock, whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Otto, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling." "Can I come?" asked 58erella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fatima. "No way, Fatima! You're wrong! He's going to marry me!" said Ivana. "Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me!" said Fernanda. The rest say, "All three of you are wrong! He's going to marry me!" And then they tear 58erella's best party dress. Later, at 8 o'clock at night, 58erella is distraught, upset, and sad, doing chores about not going to the ball. Suddenly, 58erella's fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 58erella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you," she said. And so, she waves her magic wand to do all the chores for 58erella. But she's not done yet. She says, 58erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice." Luckily, 58erella has 58 pumpkins and 116 mice. 58erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 58 pumpkins into a handsome coach, 116 mice into horses, and then 58erella's work clothes into a gown and crown. 58erella says, "I've never seen such an Octo Quinquadrant Tubble-tastic gown. Get it out of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" And climbs into the coach. 58erella's fairy godmother says, "Well, you can't. But have fun, 58erella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before." And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. It's 9 o'clock now, and so 58erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumblingham says, "Good evening, everyone." Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling was wondering who to marry. "Isn't that right, son?" In which Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling respond, "Yes, father." At 10 o'clock, 58erella arrives at the ball for the food first. Just in time, 58erella then sees Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima and Tasha, say, "He's walking towards me altogether." But Prince Octa, Quinn, Quadrant, and Tumbling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 58erella. After dinner, says, "Prince Aqua, Quadrant, and Tumbling asks, 'May I have this dance?' And so, 58 responds, I would be delighted. 58 and Prince Otto, Queen Quadra, and Tupling dance happily together. But later, 58 checks her clock, and it's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling was really worried that he might never see 58 again. The king of Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 58 my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, and Prince Otto, Queen Tupling traveled all around the neighborhood to find 58 and brought the 2 glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, they knock on the door of the house where 58 and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 58 they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima and Tatasha. Prince Aqua Quinja Tupling then says, Ladies, my father, the king of Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Fatima's first, but her feet are too big. Ivana's next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, and Prince Aqua Quinja Tupling, known as 58 was sweet singing. Prince Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, and your majesty, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slippers fit! And 58 the king of Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, and the Prince Otto, Queen Quadra, Tupling, lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Internet Everything, and buy our merchandise at interneteverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Internet Everything proudly presents 85 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named 85 Arella. 85 Arella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Yanina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. All 10 of them made fun of 85 Arella and made her do all the chores. 85er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Eliza to Ella all together. One day, the king of Octa, Queen Octa Tuplingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Queen Octa Tuplingham is going to throw a ball. Whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quinaja Tupling. But 85 Rala is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Eliza, the oldest stepsister. Isabella said, No way, Eliza! He's going to marry me! And the rest said, No, he's going to marry me! Later, 85 Arella is so sad, distraught and upset of doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quinaja Tupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother rises and comforts 80 Arella by saying, There, my dear sweet 85-Arella. I can help a bit of magic. And waves her magic wand. Because of that, 85-Arella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother's not done yet. She said, 85-Arella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 85-Arella has 85 pumpkins and 170 mice. 85-Arella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 85 pumpkins into a handsome coach, this 170 mice into horses, and then 85-Arella's rich clothes into a gown and crown. 85-Arella says, I've never seen such a queen octogen double-tastic gown. You get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? 85-Arella's fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 85-Arella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, and gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 85-Arella accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Queen Artajin Tublingham says, good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Queen Artajin Tubling, was running hoo-hoo to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Queen Artajin Tubling responds, yes, father. Suddenly, 85-Arella arrives just in time for the ball. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Edina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, he's walking towards me all together. But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Queen Artajin Tubling is walking towards 85-Arella. He then asks, may I have this dance? Asks Queen Artajin Tubling, in which 85-Arella responds, I would be delighted. Prince Queen Artajin Tubling and 85-Arella dance happily together. But later, 85-Arella checks her clock. It's almost midnight. Because of that, she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Queen Artajin Tubling was really sad and worried that he might never see 85-Arella again. The king of Queen Artajin Tubling comforts him by saying, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find her. And so, the king of Queen Artajin Tubling and Prince Queen Artajin Tubling began their journey all around Queen Artajin Tubling to find 85-Arella and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knock on the door of the house where 85-Arella and Prince and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 85-Arella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Queen Artajin Tubling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Queen Artajin Tubling, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Eliza, the oldest, is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Queen Artajin Tubling and the king of Queen Artajin Tubling noticed 85-Arella sing. Your Majesty and Prince Queen Artajin Tubling, is that you? She hollered excitedly. Prince Queen Artajin Tubling says, of course it's me. I love you. Will you marry me? And the glass slipper fits. And so, Prince Queen Artajin Tubling, the king of Queen Artajin Tubling And 85 lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And I've been debating on making some sequels. So if you want to see maybe someday, maybe 85 2, 85 wishes come true, something like that. Doesn't matter. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Knows Everything, and buy our merch at andrewknowseverything.com. Take care. Bye.